you've written just a bunch of really incredible songs. You say you're not a good musician, which is hilarious.
Dude, I have like zero self-confidence about just about anything, but when I say that, I'm not being funny. Like, I'm like,
you get nervous when you like get on stage?
oh yeah. Yeah, like I can think about shows coming up and my hands will sweat thinking about them.
Yeah, you told me that you like haven't really played the songs for like a couple months, like old songs
Since September, yeah.
since September.
Well, dude, like think about how like, you know, I'm not going to just sit around and play. I've got to get sober for fun, like and like
So you feel the songs when you play them.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's rough. That's rough.
A lot of musicians talk about that kind of thing, though, right? Like about this. I don't know. I've heard about that with people, like about hating to play songs because of that side of it. But
Oh yeah, I've become close friends with Dan Reynolds, who's the lead singer for Imagine Dragons.
yeah,
And he says every time he performs a song, I mean, he has songs that have depression in them and all that kind of stuff. And he says like the only real way to do it is to feel it. You have to. You can't just fake it. You have to like be in it. You have to like really feel the song, as if you're singing it, as if you're writing it for the first time. So, as a performer, that he says that's his duty. He has to the audience, but then that takes a toll. That's not easy to do. That's like that, especially with the songs you write. I mean, there's a lot of darkness there in your songs.
Yeah, and I do have some lighter hearted ones too that I'll I mean the thing is it's like I've only put out I'm a little funny about like really like God, I don't know how many songs I have written that I will probably never do anything with. Like, I mean, probably at least 20 or 30 of them that are just like, they're just not, I just don't know why I don't want to put them out, but just.
What does it look like? What do you have, like a notebook with ideas, or do you mean you have like literal videos of half-baked songs?
Yeah, I've got my old phone. Well, like even just that old phone that I recorded all the stuff for TikTok and all on, it's got loads of like little, just like the way that Richmond one was where it was like in the bathroom facing this, and I had like that, that's all that, even that one I showed you on there, it had been sitting on my phone probably a couple months before it. That's why I said I have too many unfinished songs. It's exactly what I meant. I've got all these little snippets of things like a little blip here or there. But the writing process is, well, it's a lot different than I thought most people write because like there's a lot of people that do these writing rooms and stuff and they'll have, or, these co-writes where they'll have people sit down and they like sit on the couch and smoke a joint and they're like, all right, let's write this song. And they just like start plugging away and to me, that's like, I can't do that. I have to just, it's like almost a lot of times the songs come when I'm not prepared for them.
You like to be alone?
Well, alone in my head, I could be anywhere in it.
Right.
Some of them I'll just be in the shower and they'll just like, and I'm like because the thing is like, it's a certain part of your brain, I guess, that creates that stuff or picks it up or does whatever, but they come and they go just as quick as they come. It's like when you wake up, it's exactly like when you wake up, you've had this crazy vivid dream in your head and you wake up and it's all right there. And then you stop thinking about it for like half a second and then it all goes away and you'll never remember it again. Like you can't remember your dreams like that. It's exactly like that. It's like, it'll be there. It's like perfect. Like it's all right. It's like, it's almost like given to you, like just perfect, like parts of it or the whole thing or whatever. And then you get into this flow state to where you just like, it's all there in front of you and you just figure it all out. And it's like somehow you've like unlocked this little part of your brain that you don't even really know how to get to, but you just get to it and it's all there and you figure it out. But man, if you don't get it, it's gone. Like you'll never get it again. Like you'll never even be able to replicate that song ever again. It's like, it'll just go away. And typically it's like, it's only maybe the first half of the first verse is what I'll get, or it'll be like the chorus line I'll get. And then I'll build the rest of the song around that, if that makes sense, I guess.
Well, the words or the music or the melody, like what pops into your head?
The emotion, I guess, the words. Sometimes it's a phrase like one thing I will do is like, especially out in the country, people say the craziest people say the craziest things. And so sometimes I'll like jot down a little bit of I will sometimes on my phone take a little note if somebody says something real crazy that I've never heard before. And then maybe one day it'll just pop in my head like, oh, I don't know. It's very random though. Like I don't sit and just try to write songs. That's why I haven't just been dumping out, even though I have been writing a lot of songs, I haven't just been like dumping out all this crazy music. I don't want to force it. I don't want to do truck beer girl songs or like, I don't want to force song. I don't want to like.
Do you have any truck beer girl songs? Because that would be an interesting.
Yeah, I've got this silly one about this guy in West Virginia that he's the most laid back. Because I always get in my head and go over analytical about stuff and get real serious sometimes about things. And he's like, buddy, you just got to take a drag off this thing. And he'll, he was the one, he'd always like peer pressure me into taking a hit off a joint or something and like just try to cheer. And he just didn't take life so seriously. So I've written this song it's called Dr. Dan, and it's about, he's a doctor, but he's not like a conventional doctor. That's a silly one that I'll put out. So I do have some silly ones like that. I have a couple funny ones that I'll never ever probably play to the public, but I played them at the mothership. Only because nobody has their phones in there. But right after we did Rogan, I got a chance. I got connected with Tom Segura right after Rogan, and we went over to the mothership, and I got to meet him. And I love Adam Agat. He was on the thing with Norm Macdonald, is how I got introduced to him. That show Norm Macdonald had, but he's an awesome dude. And so we ended up at the mothership. I think it was the evening after the Rogan podcast, and Tom's like, well, they've never had live music in here. He's like, you could be the first one. And I was like, whatever. And so we only had one guitar, and I had my guitarist Joey with me. So Ron White was there. It was Tom Segura and then Ron White that night. And Ron took Joey in his car, drove him across town to his house, and grabbed another guitar and came back. And we got up there and we did like two really silly songs, and then Richmond in between Tom's set and Ron's set. And I was like, again, that was one of those moments in my life where I was like, what?
Yeah.
What is this? Like, what is this crazy reality I'm in? But I do have some funny. I used to, because a lot of when I wasn't playing the open mics, Brian that you met, a lot of my guitar playing was spent at places like his house, and we were all heavy drinkers, and we were just sitting around at a party playing or whatever, and so I definitely like the silly stuff too. But I was really in my head when we were talking about being low and what I would suggest people to do if they're in that point. But if I was just to like, not to flip this, but it just popped in my head, but probably what I would tell anybody to do if they're like suicidal and thinking about, like, if they're to that point, is just to go find somewhere outside, like in nature, and go.
Yeah.
That's what, I kind of missed this step when we were talking about things, but like selling my house and buying that property and putting a camper on it and trying to go into this whole off-grid thing, really, like, I don't know, it does a lot of good for you being reconnected to nature, because we are a part of it. But
oh yeah, I've been to the jungle. I went to the jungle for that reason. Yeah, being out in nature in every way is beautiful. I saw you got some. Maybe that's what I need to do, is get some goats.
I got two I can give you.
I have more questions. Why are you giving them so easily? Are there issues I need to know about?
Well, they're goats. Yeah.
There's no free lunch, man. How many? You got goats? You got all kinds of animals. What's the story of you out in the woods? What are you doing out there?
No comment. I'm just kidding. Just trying to escape this dystopian nightmare that we're all living under. Like,
yeah,
it was just a form of escapism, I guess. But I think in such a short period of time, my grandfather grew up like, they were in a survivalist state, like trying to make enough money to pay the tax on their land, growing tobacco. And then here I am, like, in this digital world 2 generations later, and I'm just like, something's not, I just felt called to try to figure all that out and how to get back into that. There's such a purity to, man, if you raise an animal and kill it and eat it, like, and I'm not talking about like Ted Nugent style, but just like, raising meat birds and pigs and stuff, and having the ability to put those in the freezer and cook them for dinner. Like,
oh yeah,
they taste so much better. But it's just I don't know how to describe it, but it just brings me joy. Being able to grow stuff, and even just flowers and everything else, just watching stuff that's alive like that is just such a, what we're doing now is I've bought this permaculture farm that hadn't been operational in like 6 or 7 years. And they did a lot of herbs. They had a big orchard, blueberries, But my dream there is to create this space that that's like the optimal place for humans to go to fix their mind. So like what's the animals and the food that I can have there and the trees that I can plant and the certain types of wildlife that I can bring in and attract, like the noises and the sounds and the smells that are optimal for a human to be in order to like fix whatever it is, I had the opportunity to meet Robert Kennedy Jr. early on with all this. And, he actually came out to my property and all, and we talked, and I think the idea is that we're going to launch this kind of like healing center thing out there. Once they get through all the mess that like they got their hands full a little bit right now with things, but whether I go that route or not, it's like, that's my goal, is to basically create a place that people can go and like, and fix their mind and find the optimal thing.